The lunch bell echoed through Ridgewood High like a signal for chaos. Students poured out of classrooms, the noise of laughter and footsteps blending with the chatter of hundreds of teenagers. In the middle of that storm of sound, a girl walked quietly, clutching a small lunchbox in both hands. Her name was Lena Ward, 16 years old, soft brown hair tied back in a loose ponytail, glasses sliding down her nose, and a shy smile that rarely showed. She walked like she was apologizing for existing, keeping her head low, hoping to be invisible. But in Ridgewood High, invisibility was a luxury she could never have. Lena had moved here only 3 months ago. Her father had died in an accident the year before, and her mother, now working double shifts at a diner, had transferred her to this school hoping for a fresh start. But high schools are the same everywhere. The moment Lena entered her first day with her second-hand uniform and quiet voice, she became the perfect target. She didn't talk back, didn't gossip, didn't post selfies, and that made her different. And in this place, different was dangerous. At the center table of the cafeteria sat Tara, the queen bee. Tall, athletic, always with perfect nails and a voice that could command an army of followers. Beside her sat Mia, her sharp-tongued best friend, and Haley, who mostly laughed at whatever Tara said. When Lena walked past their table that day, holding her lunchbox and avoiding eye contact, Tara's smirk widened like a predator spotting easy prey. "Look who's here. Little Miss Library Mouse," she said loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. Lena froze but kept walking, praying they would ignore her. But Tara stood up. "Hey, I'm talking to you," Tara called out. The cafeteria quieted slightly, heads turning. Lena turned slowly, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. "Yes," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Tara stepped closer, crossing her arms. "You think you're too good to sit with people. Always alone. Always quiet. What, you don't talk to normal people?" The other girls giggled. Lena swallowed hard. I just like sitting alone. It's quieter." Tara tilted her head mockingly. "Oh, it's quieter. Poor baby can't handle a little noise." Maya snickered. "Maybe she talks to ghosts instead of friends." Laughter erupted from nearby tables. Lena's face flushed red as she turned to leave, clutching her lunchbox tighter. But Tara wasn't done. She reached out and snatched the lunchbox from Lena's hands. "Hey!" Lena gasped, but Tara just grinned and opened it. Inside were simple sandwiches and apple slices. Nothing fancy, nothing impressive. "Oh wow," Tara said loudly, showing it to the others. "Guys, check this out! Gourmet dining, bread and sadness." The cafeteria burst into laughter. Mia tossed one of Lena's sandwiches on the floor. Haley crushed an apple under her shoe. Lena's throat tightened, tears welling up, but she refused to cry in front of them. "Give it back," Lena said softly, reaching for the box. Tara raised an eyebrow. "Or what? You gonna tell a teacher? Go cry in the bathroom again." She pushed Lena back slightly. The crowd around them started to grow. The energy shifted. Phones were raised. They wanted a show. Lena's hands shook. Her mother's voice echoed in her head from years ago. "You're strong, sweetheart. Remember what I taught you. If someone ever tries to hurt you, don't fight to show off. Fight to protect yourself." Her mother had been a self-defense instructor before life took its turn. Lena had trained quietly in their garage since she was 8, but she'd sworn never to use it unless she had no other choice. "Please," Lena said again, trying to stay calm. "Give me my lunch back." Tara smirked, stepped forward, and shoved Lena's shoulder hard. "Make me." The shove wasn't hard enough to hurt, but it was enough to ignite something deep inside Lena, the fire she'd kept buried beneath silence and fear. The cafeteria noise faded from her mind. Her breathing slowed. Every muscle in her body remembered what to do. "Don't," she whispered. But Tara laughed. "Or what, quiet girl? You gonna?" Before she could finish, Tara grabbed the collar of Lena's shirt, yanking it roughly. The cheap fabric tore at the seam, a loud rip that silenced the room instantly. Gasps filled the air. Lena froze, one hand instinctively covering her chest where the shirt had split. Tara laughed again, but that sound broke something inside Lena. Lena's hand shot up, grabbing Tara's wrist in one lightning-fast motion. The crowd blinked. No one had ever seen her move like that. Tara tried to pull away, but Lena's grip tightened, twisting Tara's arm in a way that made her gasp in pain. "What the hell? Let go!" Tara yelled, but Lena didn't. Her voice was steady now, calm and low. "You shouldn't have done that." With one controlled pivot, Lena shifted her weight, bringing Tara's arm over her shoulder and flipping her effortlessly onto the cafeteria floor. The sound of Tara hitting the ground echoed through the room. A mix of shock and disbelief filled every face watching. Mia screamed, "Tara!" and rushed forward, but Lena turned, blocking Maya's arm and twisting it just enough to make her drop the phone she was recording with. "Stop," Lena said sharply. Her eyes, once shy and fearful, now burned with something powerful. The quiet girl everyone ignored suddenly looked like someone trained for battle. But Tara wasn't done. Embarrassment burned hotter than pain. She scrambled to her feet, charging at Lena with a furious scream. "You're dead," she shouted. But Lena sidestepped smoothly, used Tara's momentum, and delivered a precise, self-defense palm strike to the side of Tara's shoulder, not hard enough to injure, but enough to spin her sideways. The cafeteria gasped again. Tara stumbled, caught herself, and turned again, swinging blindly. Lena ducked, stepped in close, and with one fluid motion blocked, pivoted, and delivered a controlled strike. A single open, handed hit to the chest that sent Tara backward into a chair. The impact knocked the breath out of her. Silence fell across the cafeteria. For a full 10 seconds, no one spoke, no one moved. Lena stood there breathing slowly, her torn shirt still hanging off one shoulder, eyes locked on Tara, who sat on the floor clutching her chest, shock in her eyes. "Don't touch me again," Lena said quietly. "And don't touch anyone else like that either." No one dared laugh. No one even whispered. The phones that had been recording were now lowered, the energy replaced by awe and disbelief. The quiet girl had just knocked out the queen bee in front of the whole school. A teacher finally rushed in, shouting, "What's going on here?" But the students stayed silent. No one wanted to be the one to tell. The truth would spread anyway, through whispers, videos, and stunned retellings. Lena didn't stay to explain. She picked up her torn lunchbox, adjusted her ripped shirt, and walked out of the cafeteria with her head high for the first time since she came to Ridgewood. Outside, she stood near the empty hallway, her hands trembling as the adrenaline faded. She looked down at herself, tears of frustration mixing with a strange calm pride. She didn't want to fight, but they'd forced her. For the first time, she'd stood up not just for herself, but for every kid too scared to do the same. When she reached her locker, she found a small crowd forming quietly at a distance. Some looked at her with respect, others with fear. One freshman girl whispered, "That was amazing." But Lena didn't answer. She just sighed, fixing her uniform as best she could. That evening at home, she told her mother what had happened. Expecting anger, she instead saw tears in her mother's eyes, not of sadness but pride. "You didn't hurt them out of anger," her mom said softly. "You defended yourself. That's what I taught you. Never be ashamed for standing up when someone crosses the line." Lena smiled faintly. "I just couldn't take it anymore." Her mother nodded. "Good. Maybe now they'll think twice before bullying anyone else." The next morning, when Lena walked into school, the whispers followed her again. But this time they weren't cruel. "That's her," someone said. "The quiet girl who flipped Tara." Others just moved out of her way as she passed. Tara wasn't at school that day, and rumor said she'd gone home with a bruised ego and a broken sense of invincibility. Lena sat alone at lunch again, but now it was by choice. The silence felt different now. It wasn't loneliness anymore. It was peace. She looked around and noticed another girl, small and nervous, trying to eat alone at the edge of the cafeteria, while some older boys laughed at her. Lena's eyes narrowed. She stood up slowly, her lunch tray in hand, and walked over. The bullies froze the moment they saw her. They didn't say a word. The quiet girl sat next to the younger student, smiling kindly. "Don't worry," she said softly. "They won't bother you." And they didn't. That day, a legend started at Ridgewood High, about the quiet girl no one noticed, until she made everyone remember her name.